हंसता चला जा, हंसता चला जा, तू राह अपनी बनाना चला जा। कदम नौजवान तू बढ़ाता चला जा, बढ़ाता चला जा, तू राह अपनी बनाना चला जा। और सागर की मौजों को तू जा चीरता। परे जो मुसीबत वो तू जा चीरता, और सागर की मौजों को तू जा चीरता। मसलता चलता जमाता चला
No, you can make it block it.
Oh, you tell me now how you want to सूर्य से रश्मि गीता से पवित्र पति पवित्र पुत्र से कामना पवित्र चिकिया लक्ष्म पुण्य प्रार्थना अपराध आमो विष्णामयो भवस्तानामो जितराजनस्य ईश्वराय नमः माधवाय नमः गोविंदायेभ्यो नमो नमः। ओम पूषस्तितो देवेश पुष्मे जनार्दनम पूष्मदेशं करो देवाय तिलकं केशवं माधवं अच्युतं गोविंदाय नमः। अमृतोपस्थितमसि स्वाहा अमृतापिधानमसि स्वाहा सत्यशाशिने शिशेषं स्वाहा लक्ष्मी नारायणाय नमो नमः। पवित्रेस्तु वैष्णव्योऽस्य नाम चित्रेणां पवित्रेणां सूर्य से रश्मि गीत से ते पवित्र पते आपो हिष्ठामि भवस्तानामुद्दिदातनं अमृतोपस्थितमसि स्वाहा अमृतापिधानमसि स्वाहा सत्यनिशाश्री नैशिष्यैतनो गोविंदायेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री श्री पवित्रेषु वैष्णव्यो सवितुनाम पवित्रेणां सूर्यस्य रश्मि गीतस्य ते पवित्रपति पवित्रभूतस्य महापुण्यचक्रियम्। ओम श्री कुशस्थितं कुशस्थितो केशवं माधवं अच्युतं गोविंदाय नमो नमः। अमृतोपस्थितमसि स्वाहा अमृतापिधानमसि स्वाहा सत्यनिशाश्रीमे शिशेतं गोविंदायेभ्यो नमो नमः। पवित्रेषु वैष्णव्योऽस्य नाम चित्रेणां पवित्रेणां सूर्यस्य रश्मिभिः तस्य ते पवित्र शिवाय नमः माधवाय नमः अच्युताय नमः। अमृतोपस्थितमसि स्वाहा अमृतापिधानमसि स्वाहा सत्यनिशाश्री नैशिशेतं स्वाहा। Give all of them flowers. पवित्रेषु वैष्णव्योऽस्य नाम चित्रेणां पवित्रेणां सूर्यस्य रश्मिभिः तस्य ते पवित्र
Principal Sayodhyapati Ramachandra ki Jai Ramapati Mahadev ki Jai. My dear devotees, at this time I invite each and everyone to please stand. As we pay homage in the name of Bhagwan and this way, as we clasp our hands together, we close eyes, we bow heads in prayer. As we perform our final rites, we may of this Atma, this body as well. As we commit this body back to this physical world, we will pray. Hari Om. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayana Vyasaya Pratidam Purana Punnamati Mahabharata Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadishadhyayini Amba Tvamanusundadhami Bhagavati Kiti Bhavarveshini Namastute Vyasa Vishale Buddhi Purani Vindayata Patranitra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajvalita Gyanmaya Pradipaha प्रपन्न पारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रय कपाने ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतामृहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपाल नंदना पार्थो वत्सा सुधीर्भुक्तं दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं भीष्मद्रोण तथा जयता जला गन्धानि निलोपला शल्याग्रहवती कृपेण वहिनी कर्णेना वेलकुला अश्वत्थाम विकर्ण घोरमकरा दुर्योधना वर्तिनीं सोतीर्णा कल्पान्वैरणधीर केवर्तका केशवा पाराशर्यवच सरोजममला गीतार्था गन्धोत्कं नानाज्ञानकेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधना बोधितं लोके सज्जनकत्परैरहरहा पीयमाना मुदा भूयर भारत पंकजं कलिमला प्रज्वंसेन श्रेयसिं मोकं करोति वाचालं पंगुलंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्द माधवं यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुता शृण्वन्ति वैष्णवै वीरैः साङ्गपराक्रमोपनिषदे गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थितर्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यशान्तं न विदुर्सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। गोविंद गोविंद हरि मुरारी गोविंद गोविंद मुकुंद कृष्णा गोविंद गोविंद रटांगपाणि गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति प्रिंसिपली बांकी बिहारी लाल की जय। Devotees, you can kindly be seated. ओम श्री विष्णु 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 देव परमात्मने श्री राम पुरुषोत्तम श्री श्वेतः वारः कल्पेवैश्वमन्त्र्य शाविंशतिकृते कलियुगे कल्पप्रथम चरिणे क्रांति महासागरे स्थित। ओम अधर्मगोत्रस्याम प्रेतस्यः मितिस्थानार्थाय शवनिमित्तमया आर्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधर्मगोत्रस्याम प्रेतस्यः मितिस्थानार्थाय शवनिमित्तमया आर्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधर्मगोत्रस्याम प्रेतस्यः मितिस्थानार्थाय शवनिमित्तमया आर्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। श्री विष्णवेभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री लक्ष्मी नारायणाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। ओम अधमगोत्रस्याम प्रेतस्यः श्री श्री तिलकं पिण्डोमयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। श्री तिलकं पिण्डोमयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्याम प्रेतस्यः श्री तिलकं पिण्डोमयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्याम प्रेतस्यः श्रीगन्धाद्यं पिण्डोपरि मयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्याम प्रेतस्यः गन्धाद्यं ओम गन्धाद्यो पिण्डोमयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्याम प्रेतस्यः गन्धाद्यो मयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्याम प्रेतस्यः श्रीगन्धाद्यो पिण्डोमयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्याम प्रेतस्यः गन्धाद्यो मयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम श्री अधमगोत्रस्य अमुप्रेतस्यः श्रीगन्धाद्यं पिण्डोपरि मयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्यामुप्रेतस्यः श्रीतिलकं श्रीशवानिमित्तमयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्यामुप्रेतस्यः गन्धाद्यो पिण्डोमयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्यामुप्रेतस्यः श्रीतिलकं पिण्डोपरि मयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्यामुप्रेतस्यः शवनिमित्तमयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्यामुप्रेतस्यः श्रीगन्धाद्यो पिण्डोपरि मया निवेदिता भक्त्यां तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्यामुप्रेतस्यः पुष्पं पुष्पाणि मयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम पुष्पांजलि पिण्डोपरि मयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्यामुप्रेतस्यः शवनिमित्तमयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्यामुप्रेतस्यः श्रीपुष्पं पुष्पाणि पिण्डोपरि मयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। ओम अधमगोत्रस्यामुप्रेतस्यः शवनिमित्तमयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। पुष्पांजलि पिण्डोपरि मयाद्यते तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। केशवा माधवा ओ मैदेव मधुसूदना केशवा माधवा। ओम यम द्वारे महागौर्य ध्यानमुसावृति तत्त्वलोकनर्ताय दीपोऽयं तु प्रतिष्ठिताम्। केशवा माधवा जय देव मधुसूदना। O Keshava Madhava Jai Deva Madhusudana Netra Kamaladhar Ativa Manohar Netra Kamaladhar Ativa Manohar Antaryami Prabhu Parameshwar Antaryami Prabhu Parameshwar Maya Manusha Vesha Niladhar Maya Manusha Vesha Niladhar Maya Manusha Vesha Niladhar Jaya Deva Madhusudana Jaya Deva Madhusudana O Jaya Deva Madhusudana Jaya Deva Madhusudana Keshava Madhava Jaya Deva Madhusudana
Om Siyat Yamudrasyam Pretasya Shavani Mayadiyati Tu Patishtita Shri Pindu Mayadiyati Tu Patishtita. No, yes. Hold your hands like this. And it's when you water here on the pinnar. Om Triptyantami. Om Sri Triptyantami. Om Triptyantami Mayadiyati. Put that like this. Om Adhamagotrasyam Pretasyaha Triptyantami Mayadiyate Tu Patishtatham Shri Vishnave Namaha.
Bole Sri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki. My dear devotees, this morning we are all humbly gathered to pay our final respects to this wonderful soul who has existed upon this earth and amongst all of us. Indeed, as we commit this body back to this physical world, many of us will know him in different capacity, in different purposes of life, and today blessed is his soul that indeed 3 generations stand before him to fulfill his rites. His children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And it says very, very few individuals have that opportunity to get their children, their grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren to stand and fulfill their last rites. This is why it tells us, according to Garuda Puran, it says 3 generations get that blessing. The putra, the children, pautra, the grandchildren, and prapautra, the great-grandchildren. So today, they are not neglecting their duties. They are standing very firm in fulfilling their duties. Because what we are seeing in the world today, some may say, I don't need to do all of this. I don't have to do all of this. And my dear devotees, you shun away from the duties that we're supposed to perform. So this is your duty as the sons, the grandsons, and the great-grandsons. This is your duty. And this is why you have taken this up. My dear devotees, as we all humbly clasp our hands together, indeed, as we seek the grace of Bhagavan, as we offer a couple verses of Bhagavad Gita, in that humble name of the Atma. Hari Om. Govinda Govinda Hare Murari Govinda Govinda Mukunda Krishna Govinda Govinda Ratanapane Govinda Damodhar Madhaveti Om Krishna Krishna Kripalu Tvam Gatimagatirna Bhava Sansardana Gava Prasiddha Purushottamam He Rama Purushotama Nar Hari Narayana Keshava He Govindaya Garutuje Gunanidhim Damodhare Madhava He Krishna Kamalapati Yadupati Sitapati Shripatim Vaikuntari Chanachakati Lakshmi Pate Pahimam Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bole Sri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. Today, my dear devotees, I would like to offer a couple verses of Bhagavad Gita. One of the greatest battles that was fought when Bhagavan stood with Arjuna on that battlefield, he revealed to him the greatest and most esoteric teachings that was taken to know to us as the Bhagavad Gita. Hato va praptase svargajitvam ya bhakshayate mi mahi tasmadudishtam kaunteya yudva krita nishtayam sukha dukhe sema kritva labha alabhyo jaya ajayam tato yudhya jushvasvam naivam praptavasya yasi. Bole Sri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki. Bhagavan says to Arjuna, to die in this world we have to die, but we must be able to win that heaven, and we must be able to conquer all our sovereignty of this earth. Therefore, O Arjuna, stand and fight your battle. Be determined to fight. And I can tell you safely, he was an individual who fought many battles to reach this age. I think he was 92. So to reach the age of 92 years, he lived a full life. And living that full life, my dear devotees, he have fought many battles in his life. Even to the point that I came to read Gita for him and he still wanted to fight. So he was a fighter, and I could have sensed that he was a fighter. Even on the bed, he wanted to fight. Even through his operation, he wanted to fight. So my dear devotees, to fight to survive. And this world, this is why Bhagavan says to Arjuna, stand up and fight your battle. Everybody here has a battle to fight, but not everybody here will win the same battle. Sometimes we win our battles, sometimes we don't. Does that mean we fall to the wayside? No, Bhaya. We get up again and we fight our battles. Sometimes we don't want to fight the battle, but the battle keeps coming time and time again. So in fighting our battles makes us stronger. And this is why Bhagavan says we must be able to treat victory and defeat alike. For us today may be a defeat because we have lost a loved one. For the Atma, it is a victory because he has now done his service and he has now migrated or transmigrated from this body. So for us, we might look at it as a defeat, and I will tell you, please don't, because very few souls are lucky to die in this time while the sun is in the north course. So blessed is he even that all his children and grandchildren stand to fulfill their rights and fulfill your duty. I can tell you safely, sometimes you have to beg a son now to stand up and do the father's duty, to fulfill the last rites. So indeed, this is how you live. My dear devotees, this is why he says to Arjuna, look at pain and pleasure on one. Do not look at it as a separate entity. And get ready to fight your battle. Fighting your battle, you will not incur any sin. If you fight the battle for the just cause and the cause of Dharma, you will never incur sin. And this is why he says to Arjuna, he says, "O Arjuna, this attitude of mine does present the point that we will understand what is Jnana Yoga. And now when we put that knowledge into action, we become Karma Yogas. By this, we must be equipped ourselves, and equipping ourselves, we now break the shackles of karma. So today, my dear devotees, we must be able and enabled to break the shackles of karma and enabled to break that shackles of karma. Today indeed, the father of this home has now departed. He has broken his shackles of karma. But now you, fulfilling your duties, you are now completing your karma towards him. By this nature, my dear devotees, when we take the honored opportunity to give thanks in the name of Bhagwan, as we clasp hands together, we close eyes and we bow heads in prayer. Shri Ramachandra Kripal Bhajaman Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam Navakanjalochana Kanja Mukha Kar Kanja Para Kanjadunam Kandar Payaganita Yamit Chabhinav Nila Nirada Sundaram Patapita Mana Uttarita Ruchi Suchi Naumi Janaka Sutavaram Bhajudena Bandhu Dinesha Danam Daitya Vanshanikandanam Raghunandayananda Kanda Kushal Chandra Dasarata Nandanam Sira Mukta Kundala Tilaka Charu Udharu Anga Vibhushanam Ajanu Bhuj Shar Chap Dharsan Grama Jit Kar Dushanam Iti Barasi Tulasi Das Shankar Shesha Muni Manaranjanam Mama Hridaya Kanjani Vasu Kuruka Madhikala Dalaganjanam Mani Jahira Chumelahi Sovaru Sahita Sundara Savaru Karuna Nidhana Sujana Shilu Sanehu Janavaravaru Shri Ramachandra Kripal Bhajaman Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam Navakanjalochana Kanja Mukha Kar Kanja Para Kanjarunam Shri Ram Shri Ram Shri Ram. Today, my dear devotees, I would like to ask the children in particular, or the grandchildren, whatever your father may have done in his last days, please forgive him. And you know why I say that? Because he was not conscious of the personality of who he was. Because he suffered in his last days, mentally especially, and he may have done things that was very much unforgiving, or may have said things that was unforgiving. But always remember, we do not know when our time of death comes, how we will be, what frame of mind we will be. So indeed, I know you had a very difficult time with him in dealing with some of his situations. But nevertheless, these may have been signs to us that shows us that there is approaching. So my dear devotees, in our humble and in our simple and divine this morning amongst us, and I know I cannot Mr. Nizam Muhammad is amongst us. And anyway, when I see him, I always ask him to say a couple of words. It's not today I know him. So, so I will ask him to say a few words on behalf of the family.
Thank you very much, Panditji. Members of the bereaved family, my dear brothers and sisters, we are all privileged to be present here this morning and to join with the members of the bereaved family in saying our final goodbyes to one of God's faithful servants, a man whom God blessed with long life and very good health for the longest time, except in his last days, when he had the challenges that old age brings, so that those of us who were near and dear to him and close to him will see that as a very living example of the realities of life. Today we pay our respects to one of our soldiers. Very few of his friends will be present today for the simple reason that they have gone before him. So who is left behind would be younger people. And younger people should take this opportunity, if I may respectfully suggest, Panditji, take this opportunity and this occasion to really do some deep thinking. He has left us behind. I have been a very close friend of the MANBODH family for the greater part of my years. And his perhaps only surviving brother, unfortunately, because of infirmity, he could not be here this morning. He resides in Canada. So I thought that as a mark of respect to the MANBODH family, I should make it possible to be here amongst the members of the family and all our dear friends. And I deem it a privilege. I am asking simply, perhaps as an elder of the community now, Panditji, that we use this opportunity to ask ourselves where we are and where we are going, those of us who are left behind. Whenever I attend some occasion like this one, I feel heartened to know that we have a present generation that respect and appreciate that which was handed down to us by our forefathers. And they are propagating, they are encouraging, they are nurturing, they are supporting. I tell you this very bluntly, without what we have inherited, we are nothing and we have nothing. Look at the condition of the world today and the situation that our brother has left this world in. Not that he is responsible. We are the ones to think deeply and to fix ourselves, so to speak. All of us, we are on the same journey. We may be taking different routes. We may be having different challenges, as our Panditji has said. But it is inevitable, and that is the reality. So today, we face that reality, we accept the reality. We thank God for having an elder like him in our midst and in our community and in our family. We know that no one of us is perfect simply because we are human beings. And we overlook the small things. And we look at the bigger picture and we say, Mani, you fought a good fight. You have left a legacy. And looking or putting aside whatever shortcomings, you have left enough for us to build on as members of your family and as members of the community that you have left. May God Almighty bless those of the bereaved members of the family. May He bless the soul of our dear brother. May He bless our Pandit for being a leader in our community. And may God Almighty bless each and every one of us as we say, my dear brother, you're ahead, soon we shall follow you. Om Shanti.
Boli Sri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. So I thank our very honorable Mr. Nizam Mohammed for those wonderful words. At this time I will hand over to the son of our dear bereaved family, and I will hand over to him to do eulogy on behalf of the family.
Thank you, Pandit. All gathered here, this huge congregation. What can we say about Mr. Mani? That Mr. Nizam already hinted and elaborated on. It's rather difficult as to where to start and how do we put this in perspective. Our father, Mr. MANIRAM MANBODH, was born on the 6th of December 1951. The parents, very religious parents, who many of you may not be familiar with the terminology. He was born to parents who were Sadhu, his father, and his mother, Sadhwai, which means that they were deeply religiously rooted and lived a certain type of life. No meat, no drink, all prayer, all good deeds, and which would have molded him and his siblings in a particular way. Mani stood out among his siblings, I must say. And I say that without fear of contradiction. There were others who were excited by the other physical things that surrounded them. But he stayed simple, he stayed close to his parents, always constructive, always in a line of progress and community. It was never his desire to be greedy or selfish, but he worked for the well-being of all. And his hard work was well appreciated. There was a little conflict among his siblings, but that was his way of doing things. It was his natural way of doing things. And it benefited not only his siblings, not only his parents, his cousins, one or two who are here from Canada and elsewhere. His cousin Harry knows him well. They have had many experiences together, many escapades, many, all the great things of the country life of back in the 30s, 40s, 50s. Mani was married to my mom, to Katwaroo Rambala, and took her down to Quarry village in Superior, where they had a fruitful life, one that did bear 6 children, and that not compulsively, not with a stern fist or anything like that, but he guided us into a good primary school education. He always looked out for the best school. He moved us a bit around to gather that first class of whatever existed and to ensure that we were on the right path. And then we would have all proceeded to secondary school. And again, he followed us closely. And I don't want to take away too much, but my mom was very, very instrumental, very instrumental. And that hard work of Mr. Mani, of our dad, Papa, did rub off on her. She worked tirelessly in the shop here, managing a business. He would come from the oil field, work in the oil field, and get straight into the rice mill. Then he'd work on over. We'd have to pack so many refrigerators, coolers, beverage coolers for business the next day. And the pair seemed to, cohesively carry out the work Not much conflict, little bit here and there, like any other family. But the work was done and the results were gained. Our father, Mr. Mani, as he's fondly called, lived a good life in the community. Lived a very good life in the community. And could be described as a role model. Any people, any persons would have wanted to pattern their lives along his, would have benefited so much. Alright? So, the 6 children all made him proud. He wouldn't boast too much, he was not that kind of person. And those of you who would have known him over all the years, didn't own too many cars, but whichever he owned, he would simply drive around. He had his landmark vehicle, also the Crown, which up to the last he would have driven and conducted his business in his own simple. After his work in the oil field, he also carried on for about 30 years. He worked with his personal late, serving the community, serving so many car owners and truck owners and whatever he wanted. No job was too difficult or anything. He was a master craftsman, But you take a quick look and he would even suggest ideas as how it could be completed, and people really appreciated it. We would not forget, as my sister reminded me earlier, that one of his events for the carnival period there, especially when I think that's our carnival Tuesday morning, he would take us to the coffee fields estate, which my Aja and Aji, and alongside my father, he was always that person to make the first step forward. And we would pick coffee and whatever, and the morning period, and then we would have the day where it's to go up to Superior to look at whatever mass was there at the time. So he did strike a balance, right? It wasn't all work, it wasn't all play, but at the end of the day, when you look back, you would have realized that he would have achieved something. He would have worked in the rice mill, he would have worked in the shop, and he was a good cyclist. No distance was too far for my father to travel cycling. And I know there are some relatives here, younger people who would have thought and say, Papa was a good cyclist. He would climb those hills, he would pedal, he would cover distances, he'd leave them behind. And they always had to sort of catch up. I remember too, he was a very good swimmer. Go down to Queen Anne Beach and whatever, we'd look out. Fearful for him, but we'd see his head there, bubbling around and whatever. A good all-round person. Never into one aspect of anything. And yet, he was able to masterly conquer. Right? Okay, I think that's as much because quickly put together this morning when we realized that we had to see something. Alright. So that's it, as you say, Samani, Papa, so rest in peace. You are a great soldier. You are a great soldier. If I could say so myself. Nobody could fault him in any respect. We may say that, of course, all of us have little faults, all of us have little shortcomings, whatever, but I personally cannot remember any, or if any, they were so trivial, in terms of what happens today, that I will give him a clean slate, a very clean slate, and that paves the way for him going forward and going on to the world beyond. Whatever lies ahead, I know it's going to be a clear way for him, and his achievement will continue. He will conquer any obstacles. Thank you.
Prince Tulsi Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki. So my dear devotees, just a brief history of our dear deceased. I am sure, as his son said, he would have conquered anything. Even in his state of sickness, he would have conquered anything. So, one of the things that I have admired is the day that I came here to read the Gita. So me and God, he was telling me how he was very determined to jump the wall. And he was very determined to climb over the wire. You know, and when they did look at him, he reached on top of the roof. So I was even amazed by that. So my dear devotees, that's to show the strength of the individual. That's to show the fortitude of the individual. So today indeed, as we bid farewell to a soldier of our society, and I hope that future generations, not only his children and grandchildren and so forth, but future generations can take a little bit of these teachings of their life, a little page of his life, to make life, however tough it may be, to make it workable. However difficult it may be, to make it enjoyable. Because today many people look for happiness and enjoyment in different ways. And still, at the end of the day, we say, you know what, this world hard. And I always tell many individuals, the world is always hard. Nobody said the world will be easy. And if anybody tell you this world is going to be an easy world, they're telling to you a lie. The world is a hard world. You have to make the world easy. In the days of his time, the world was hard then. And as time went by, we thought that everything would get easy. And for us, it would also be hard. And I always say they are lucky he had 6 children to mine. I don't know how they're doing right. I just have 2, and I just catch HELL. So here, I don't know how to do it. But however they did it, they made life as very much sustainable for each and everyone. At this time, I would like to ask one individual to say a few words, and that is the council of the area, Nicholas Kanhai. I see he's in the audience.
Jai Sitaram, everybody. Jai Sitaram. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Paneji, thank you very much for the opportunity. This family, I've actually been very close to this family for as long as I can remember. And when we see so many people gathered here to celebrate the life of a man who has lived for 92 years, and I'm only 1/3 of that, it really goes to show that can we really continue the legacy and the foundation that we have built for all of us. The Srimad Bhagavad Gita says that man is himself his own best friend and his own worst enemy. And just by the life that Uncle lived, we can see throughout every sphere of our community that his children, his grandchildren, they continue to be productive citizens, as I said, in every sphere of life. He and his wife, they made productive children, and I said grandchildren and even great-grandchildren. And we must commend the family for taking care of him in the days when he wasn't able to take care of himself. And again, we must live a life whereby when we reach that stage, you see, once a man, twice a child. When we reach that stage in our life, that we have people who can care for us and love us and be there for us and not abandon us. Sherry, do you still think he was your favorite? Sherry used to always say that she was a favorite grandchild.
Tell everybody.
Yeah. So Sherry used to say, where there's a will, there's a way. But she really wanted to be evil, Up to recently, in my interactions with him, I think Uncle MANIRAM Raju, who was here a few nights ago, he said it so perfectly, that Uncle would be very composed in what he wanted to say. He didn't talk a lot, you know. He would think about what he wanted to say and then he would articulate what it is he wanted to convey. But he was an advocate for resolving flooding issues in this community up to his very end. His memory was sharp, and up to recently, he expressed his disappointment with the inhumanity meted out by new land developers, their greed and inconvenience and discomfort they cause law-abiding citizens. And again, when I said he laid the foundation for us to build on, I really meant that, because I learned and take passion for making sure that people were comfortable and they didn't have to be inconvenienced or discomforted in their own homes. And don't worry, Auntie Sumi and Auntie Gita will make sure that they continue this advocacy. I had preliminary conversations with the family. I think in the last couple of days, no matter where you are, where you were from, everybody knows this junction as Mani Junction. And the community council and the family had some conversation, and I had conversations with the chairman of the Pinality Regional Corporation and other members of council, and I think it would be very fitting for us to accept the recommendation that this junction be officially renamed Mani Junction in his honor and for his 92 years of service, but also because of his years of community development. I think we all know that this junction has been a historic venue for the Independence Day sports. And Sir said just now that he had this machine shop here. This continues to be a historic site, a historic landmark in this community. No matter what part of Trinidad you were from, you know where Mani Junction is. So with those few words, I would encourage all of us to continue to support the family during this time. A very, very strong family, but continue to be there. We only miss the deceased when the 13 days is finished and everybody goes back to their homes and their lives and so on. But let's continue to be there for each other, to support each other during these times.
So I thank our councillor very much for his heartfelt words. At this time, let us all clasp our hands together with closed eyes with our heads in prayer. As we meditate in the name of Bhagwan, we ask that Bhagwan to shower grace upon that Atma. As we fulfill our duties, our rights, our rituals in the name of the Buddha. Paryo manadhani dhano deva sanka chakragadharam akshaya pundarikaksha pretamoksha pradobhava Krishna Krishna Kapalu Tongati Magatirna Bhavan Sansakanaga Prasiddha Purushottamam He Rama Purushottamam Hari Narayana Keshava He Govindaya Garudaji Gunanidhi Damodhari Madhava Om Tvameva Mata Shapita Tvameva Bandhu Chataka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. This beautiful prarthana tells to us that we are just a boat that is upon this ocean of life. And just as this boat will carry its duty to reach from point A to point B, we ask that Supreme Lord and Master take us. Allow him to be the boatman that will guide us through this, whether it be calm waters or murky waters or even rough waters. Para Brahma Parameshwara Tum Itani Binati Suniye Suniye Jinko Kachuravalam Banahi दया तुम्हारी चाहिए चाहिए इसको अवगुण बहुतेरे हुए यही पार क्षमा करिए करिए दीन दयाल पिता तुम है निज धाम इसको चाहिए चाहिए मोक्ष दया बिन होत नहीं चाहे कोटि प्रबंध करिए करिए भव सागर बहुत गहरी कोई नाव वहाँ चाहिए चाहिए प्रभु राम के नाम को नौ अपना बिन परीक्ष राम तरिए तरिए यह मृतक जीव सुदास गति निज दास बना रखिए रखिए हरिदास तुम्हार करे विनती दया भगवन करिए करिए दया भगवन करिए करिए। ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। प्रिंस बोली से अयोध्यापति रामचंद्र की जय, श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय, बोली सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। So my dear devotees, we will allow a couple moments for those who wish to pay your final respects or even place a flower in a very orderly manner. This can be done. So at this time, we will have a couple moments, starting firstly with members of the bereaved family, the children, the grandchildren, all. You can please come, make yourself available. Jai Jai Sitaram. On behalf of members of the bereaved family, I wish to take the opportunity to thank each and everyone for being here with them, giving them that support for the past number of days, number of nights, and indeed may Bhagwan bless you for giving them that courage to fulfill their duties as best as possible. Jai Jai Sitaram.
Con này cái nào flower cái
Cheers, Chris.
में